Well, I want people to think of me, I hope they think of me, as a hard worker and my love for the ballpark. I mean, I really love the place, but this wasn't a one-man operation. I was blessed with a great stadium commission. We were only 7 members, but at the time when we started out, it was the first of draft beer. And all the stadium commission members tapped beer, and nobody got paid. And then we got involved with the United Labor Council. And they started coming around and started helping. And the first project that we actually had, the plumber union, when Joe Bouzis was here, we didn't use the bathrooms in left field and right field. And it took them 2 years, but they worked every weekend, and they resurrected the bathrooms, that we could actually use the bathrooms in left field and right field. And as time went on, we won the black top behind where it's now the left field grandstand. There was no grandstand there, it was just a road. And there was a blacktop company out in Laureldale, and we worked out a deal with them. At nighttime, when they got done with the job, if they had anything left over, they would bring it over and do 2 feet of blacktop a night or something like that, and I open up the gate. And after a while, I think they got so involved in it, I think they used to make extra blacktop just so they could blacktop it. I think we got halfway down before Craig Stein bought the ball club, and then naturally he finished it off. But the unions played such a big part in everything in there. You had the iron workers that took down the press box at third base when we used to play football. And they got trucks and everything else, to take the press box down. They busted it up and took it away. Never charged us anything. And as time went on, we started what we call the United Labor Day Parade. And the first parade we had, it was tremendous. We had close to 10,000 people out here over the day. We got a free ball game and everything else. We had floats, bands and everything else, food vendors and rides and whatnot. And we were only 7 people, and the Labor Council supplied all the people in the work. Everybody worked free. Nobody got paid. And at the end of the night, whatever money was made, they split with us. And that was the start of what we called the Stadium Building Fund at that time. And that started the year before with Joe Bouzis. He wanted to do something for the police officers, and the Fightin fillies used to come up, the big fillies used to come up, we'd have a banquet, and he donated all the money, profits from that, to what they called Invest in a Vest for the cops. They bought these bulletproof vests for the police officers. And this was very successful. The people really bought into it. We had a big crowd at the river edge. And then he said, maybe we should keep this thing going and we can do some improvements around the stadium. And we did. And then we started the Reseater Club. We sold seats for $50, put a little tag on the seat. And if you come into the season ticket holder entrance, the people that bought seats, their name is still on the board right there when you come in, you see them. But it was the unions that helped so much. You had the electrical union. We had a power failure here one time. On a Sunday, they come on the Sunday morning and resurrected the power. We didn't have cell phones in those days, and they had the picnic area up left field, and then if they needed anything in there, they always had to run in, see somebody because they needed something out in left field. Telephone company ran a phone line out there and put a phone out there in left field. I came to the ballpark one Saturday morning, and I saw the telephone truck, and I thought, I'm not even going to ask. And I just went in there, and by that night at the ball game, we had a telephone, a working telephone that they could use from left field into the place. And it just snowballed. But the unions played such a big part, and I just can't stress enough with it. I mean, they supplied the trucks. They supplied the labor. And they were good enough that we split the money down the center, whatever they did with theirs, with their part of the cut, that was for their subs, but all our money went into the ballpark. And our big problem was, at that time we only had one locker room. We was in third base for both teams. And we were always worried about something happening on the field, or we'd have a fist fight with these guys going into the same locker room. There was just a wall between them. And so we decided we're going to see if we could somehow or another make a new locker rooms. And at that time I was a stadium manager, and even the day Major League Baseball comes out, they check the lights before the season. And I happened to be out here, and I'll never forget the guy, Dale Long. He used to be the first baseman for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was out here checking the lights, and we're out in the field, and I just mentioned to him, and I said, Dale, I said, we'd like to get new locker rooms. I said, if there's anything you could put in your report to see about getting locker rooms, I said, I appreciate it. Well, he said, I'll see what I can do. And about 2 weeks later, one of the councilmen called me and they said, Ducky, did you get a report from Major League Baseball yet in the ballpark? No, I says, I didn't get anything. I said, I guess they sent it to you. He said, well, it says in there, locker rooms unfit for human inhabitation. I have never forgot those words. It was all I could do to stop laughing. I said, oh my God, I said, I just can't believe it. I said, I thought everything was okay. Well, the city gave us $20,000 to build new locker rooms. We put one at third base and one at first base. We enlarged them, and the city workers, their union, did all the work. But we had $20,000 and we paid for all the materials. So the materials were all paid for, but the city workers did the work. These shows that travel around, there's one that goes up the north, where they have this circus and everything else. And they were looking for a place one time. We had a show here that I gave them that they could use our parking lot. They needed a place to go for a week. So when Chuck was here, he called me the next morning, he says, at work, and he said, Ducky, he said, I just came to work. He said, you turned the parking lot into Disneyland overnight. We had so many rides and everything out there. And here again, the Labor Council supplied the workers, man the stands and everything else. And unfortunately, it rained every day. But the people from the carnival, they were happy because they weren't walking in mud. They were in blacktop. And I opened the shower rooms up. The men and women would take showers together. They were just so happy to be able to take a shower. But like I say, it was great. It was a great time. And I was just a small part of it. And I just think back and how lucky I was, really. And from that point on, it just, everybody seemed to get into it, And then Joe Bouzas, then we were just starting to get something going, and he sold this team to Craig Stein. When that happened, I was devastated. We were just starting to do something, and now he sells the ball club. The way it turns out, it was the greatest thing that ever happened to Reading baseball, was when Craig Stein, and then he brought Chuck Domino in here to take over. And from that point on, I just ran along with the coach. It was a picnic area, it was a left field bleachers, there's a swimming pool, the pub. Down the line, we had the first base part. It was just one thing after another, and I was so proud. And I tell you, the one thing I really wanted was a roof. And Craig was got this roof started, and I'll never forget, I worked up the Broomworks at the time, and I used to stop at the ballpark every night, and I turned the corner up at the bank, and there was one girder. There was one girder up there. I was so happy, even today it makes me cry. I was so happy and so proud that we're finally going to get a roof. And I come down, and eventually there was a roof, and I just rode the coattails. But without the United Labor Council, really, we worked together. I don't know if you could do that today, but it was everybody took such much pride in the ballpark, and I was always worried what was going to happen, who was going to take care of the ballpark when Ducky wasn't here anymore. But I no longer have to worry. The ballpark is in good hands, better hands than ever. I don't have nothing to worry about.